In the symphony of human interaction, there's a unique group of people who often go unnoticed, the silent observers. They're not the loudest in the room, nor do they engage in heated debates. Instead, they listen, they watch, and they process. This isn't shyness, this is a conscious choice, a strategy rooted in psychology. They're often seen as passive, but what if their silence is a power play, a way to conserve energy and maintain emotional balance? This is the psychology of people who choose silence over argument, and it's more strategic than you might think. Think of it as Stoicism in action, a philosophy championed by Marcus Aurelius, where silence becomes a fortress, protecting their thoughts and energy. But why do they choose this path, and what can we learn from them? Their story begins with a simple truth: silence isn't weakness, it's a well of strength, waiting to be understood. Identify the viewer's shutdown as a high-level safety override. Frame their silence not as a weakness, but as a strategic preservation of the environment's stability. The body's fight or flight response is well known, but there's a lesser discussed third option: shutdown. This is a high-level safety override, a biological pause button when the brain perceives a threat it can't fight or flee from. It's not just about fear, it's a complex interplay of neurobiology and psychology. The amygdala, our brain's alarm system, triggers a cascade of reactions. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for rational thought, goes offline. It's like a computer freezing to prevent a crash. This shutdown response is not a sign of weakness but a sophisticated survival strategy. It's the body's way of saying, first need to preserve my resources. It's not just about physical threats. Emotional danger can trigger it too. A heated argument, for instance, can feel as threatening as a physical assault to some. The brain doesn't differentiate. It's all about perceived danger. Now, let's frame this silence, this shutdown, not as a weakness, but as a form of strategic preservation. It's a conscious or subconscious decision to maintain the stability of the environment. It's like a dam holding back a flood. Without it, there could be chaos. This concept is rooted in the psychological idea of emotional labor, where individuals manage their emotions to maintain social harmony. But it's more than that. It's about understanding the bigger picture. Think of a diplomat in a tense negotiation. They don't shout or argue. They listen, they pause, they preserve the stability of the discussion. They're not weak. They're strategic. This strategic preservation is not about avoiding conflict. It's about choosing battles wisely. It's about understanding that not every argument needs an opponent. It's about knowing when to step back, to observe, to conserve energy. This is where the philosopher Pascal comes in. He spoke of the power of silence, of the quiet strength in restraint. He said, all mankind's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. This isn't about isolation. It's about understanding the power of presence, the strength in silence. It's about knowing that sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is nothing at all. But this is just the beginning. This understanding of shutdown and strategic preservation leads us to another question: what happens when this silence is misunderstood? When this strength is seen as weakness? Use you to describe the person who realizes that when a room gets loud, the logic has already left. You are the only one grounded enough to stop digging the hole. You stand in the midst of a heated debate, voices clashing like cymbals, each person trying to drown out the other. The volume escalates, but your attention narrows. You notice how the louder the room gets, the more the conversation strays from its original point. This is not just a personal quirk, it's a well-documented psychological phenomenon. Research has shown that high arousal states, like those induced by loud, emotional arguments, can impair cognitive functions, making it harder to process information, think critically, and communicate effectively. This is where you find your strength. You are the only one grounded enough to stop digging the hole. This ability to recognize when a discussion has deviated from its logical path is a form of emotional regulation, a key aspect of psychological resilience. Your silence is not a sign of weakness but a strategic retreat. It's a pause that allows you to reassess the situation, much like the concept of response inhibition in psychology, which involves the ability to stop an automatic or prepotent response. This skill is crucial in high-stress situations, enabling you to make more thoughtful decisions. You understand that in the heat of the moment, people often say things they don't mean, driven by emotions rather than reason. By choosing to stay silent, you avoid getting entangled in this web of impulsivity. Instead, you become the anchor, the steady presence that others can turn to once the storm has passed. This ability to remain composed under pressure is a trait seen in individuals with high emotional intelligence. It's not about suppressing emotions but managing them effectively. You recognize that arguments, when fueled by loud, aggressive energy, often lead to a phenomenon psychologists call reactance. This is when people feel their freedom is being threatened and react defensively, making compromise nearly impossible. By stepping back, you're not conceding defeat. You're practicing a form of non-violent communication, allowing space for a more productive dialogue to emerge. Your silence becomes a powerful tool, a catalyst for change, rather than a barrier to it. It's a testament to your understanding of human behavior and your commitment to fostering meaningful connections, even in the face of discord. Validate the physical sensation of going quiet as a sensible conservation of nervous system resources. Why burn fuel on a fire that isn't cooking anything? The body's response to conflict is not merely emotional, it's deeply physiological. When someone chooses to stay silent instead of arguing, they are often responding to a surge of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These chemicals flood the system, preparing the body for a fight or flight response. The physical sensation of going quiet is the brain's way of opting out of the flight option, conserving energy instead of expending it on a futile battle. It's a strategic retreat, a way to protect the nervous system from unnecessary depletion. Think of it like a computer in sleep mode. It's not off, but it's not using power either. This isn't laziness or weakness, it's a form of self-preservation, a defense mechanism that psychologists often refer to as strategic disengagement. This conservation of resources is a rational response to conflict. Why burn fuel on a fire that isn't cooking anything? This metaphor, inspired by the principle of opportunity cost in economics, can be applied to social interactions. Every argument is an investment of time, energy, and emotional resources. When a person senses that an argument isn't productive, staying silent is a way to avoid wasting these valuable resources. It's like recognizing that a well is dry and choosing not to lower the bucket. This behavior is rooted in the psychological concept of cost-benefit analysis, where individuals weigh the potential gains and losses of their actions. Moreover, staying silent can be a form of self-care. It's a way to avoid the mental and emotional exhaustion that often follows heated arguments. This aligns with the principles of emotional labor, a concept popularized by sociologist Arlie Hochschild. Emotional labor refers to the effort required to manage one's emotions and expressions in accordance with social norms and expectations. By choosing silence, individuals are reducing their emotional labor, thereby protecting their mental well-being. It's like deciding not to engage in a high-stakes game where the rules are unclear and the rewards are uncertain. In this way, staying silent isn't a sign of defeat but a demonstration of self-awareness and emotional intelligence. Describe the practical benefits: you avoid saying things you'll regret, you save hours of circular recovery time, and you maintain your dignity while others lose theirs. In the heat of an argument, words can become weapons, often leaving behind collateral damage. People who choose silence over argument may be employing what psychologists call emotional regulation. This isn't about repression, but a conscious decision to prevent the escalation of conflict. They understand that once words are spoken, they can't be taken back. It's like knowing how to pause a video before it reaches an unwanted scene. For instance, consider a coworker who consistently takes credit for your ideas. Instead of hashing it out in a heated discussion, you might choose to document your contributions and present them in a calm, factual manner later. This approach aligns with the psychological concept of response inhibition, the ability to resist an impulsive or automatic response. Choosing silence can also save hours of what could be termed circular recovery time. This is the time spent rehashing arguments, apologizing, or repairing damaged relationships. It's like avoiding a traffic jam by taking a different route. For example, think of a couple who argues about household chores. Instead of getting into a shouting match, they might agree to a chore chart. This proactive approach prevents the need for lengthy discussions and apologies later. It's a practical application of the prevention focus in regulatory focus theory, where effort is directed towards preventing losses and ensuring stability. Moreover, maintaining dignity in the face of conflict is a subtle yet powerful strength. It's not about being passive, it's about not letting others dictate your emotional state. This aligns with the Stoic philosophy of focusing on what you can control, your actions and reactions, and accepting what you can't. Consider a scenario where someone insults you at a social gathering. Instead of engaging in a public argument, you might choose to walk away. You've maintained your composure, while the other person might feel embarrassed or remorseful later. It's a demonstration of self-respect and emotional intelligence. By choosing silence, you're not backing down, you're simply refusing to play a game that doesn't serve you. This leads us to consider how such strategies can foster personal growth and resilience. Conclude by affirming that your wall is actually a shield for your time and mental health, making you the most efficient person in the conflict. Silence, in the face of conflict, is often misconstrued as weakness. Yet, it is a deliberate choice, a strategy honed through understanding of one's own psychology and the dynamics of interpersonal conflict. This silence is not a wall, impenetrable and isolating, but a shield, strategically deployed to protect and preserve. It is a testament to the understanding that not all battles are worth fighting, and not all words are worth saying. Consider the concept of cognitive dissonance, a psychological theory introduced by Leon Festinger. It suggests that humans strive for internal consistency. When we engage in conflicts that challenge our core beliefs or values, we create dissonance. Silence, in this context, is a tool to avoid unnecessary cognitive load. It's not laziness, it's energy conservation. By choosing silence, you're not avoiding conflict, you're avoiding the mental fatigue that comes with defending your perspective endlessly. Moreover, silence is a form of boundary setting. It's an assertion of your right to disengage, to prioritize your mental health. This is not passive behavior, it's proactive self-care. It's the recognition that your time and mental energy are finite resources. Every minute spent in a fruitless argument is a minute not spent on something more productive. Every ounce of mental energy expended on conflict is energy not invested in personal growth or meaningful connections. In the grand scheme of conflict, silence is not a withdrawal. It's a calculated retreat, a strategic maneuver. It's the understanding that sometimes, the most efficient way to resolve a conflict is not to engage in it at all. It's the recognition that your shield, your silence, is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength, of self-awareness, and of efficient conflict management. It's what makes you the most efficient person in the conflict. As we've seen, choosing silence over argument isn't about weakness, but about understanding the power of words and the weight of emotions. It's about high sensory processing sensitivity, the ability to pick up on subtle cues others miss. It's about boundary setting, knowing when to engage and when to conserve energy. It's about strategic observation, taking in the world without always needing to change it. And perhaps most importantly, it's about self-determination, finding personal growth in the quiet spaces between words. If you've ever found yourself choosing silence over argument, you're not alone. And if you've ever judged someone for their quiet, maybe now you'll see the strength and strategy behind it. The next time you're tempted to fill a silence, pause. Ask yourself, what is there to learn in the quiet? What is there to gain by listening, truly listening, to the world and the people around you? If you're interested in learning more about the power of silence and the strength of strategic observation, stay tuned. In our next video, we'll delve into the psychology of introverts, exploring how their unique perspective shapes their interactions and their world. Until then, embrace the power of pause, the strength of silence, and the wisdom of words left unspoken.